Hey everyone, it's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. So today is another recent reads video, books number 11 through 20 of my 2022 reads. So let's just jump right in. So book number 11 is Tailing Trouble by Laura Scott. It is book 2 in the Furry Friends mystery series. So this is set in Wisconsin and we follow veterinarian Allie Winter. And she's been boarding this black poodle, Domino, and when she takes him for a nice stroll, the dog dashes off, returning with a single shoe. When she retraces Domino's steps, she finds a dead body. She gets involved. I know cozy mysteries kind of follow the same formula, but every mystery is different, and it's just so much fun to try to solve it with the protagonist. I love this one because it follows a veterinarian, which I can't think of any other mysteries that I've read with that in it. And I really, really like the characters in this book. Another main character is Allie's grandfather, who is called Gramps. And he's so quirky and eccentric. And they also have the Willow Bluff Widows, who are the ladies that live with her grandfather. They all share a house. And I just love seeing the relationship between all these characters. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm really excited for the next book in the series. Number 12 is Rest in Peach by Susan Furlong. This is book 2 in the Georgia Peach mystery series. And in this one, an upcoming debutante ball turns into the pits when a juicy murder scandalizes a small town. And our main character, Nola Mae Harper, gets involved and helps solve the mystery. This one isn't my favorite cozy mystery series, but I do enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars, so it was a lot of fun to follow, and I did go on to finish the series. Number 13 is Death in a Pot of Chowder by Cornelia Kidd, who is also Leah Waite. So this is going to be a main murder mystery series, but unfortunately, Leah Waite died before she could continue on with the series, so this one is technically a standalone. It's set on Quarry Island in Maine, and it's set within a tight-knit community that really focuses on family and tradition. So this one isn't your typical cozy mystery. It still has all the elements, but we also have a separate story. The main character, Anna, meets her sister Izzy for the first time, and they're just meeting that day when her brother-in-law turns up missing. And so it's just complete chaos. And so while we're trying to solve this mystery with Anna, we also get to see her developing this relationship with her sister Izzy, and it all wraps up really nicely. So I feel like in this one, the cozy mystery was the secondary plot and the familial relationships were the primary plot. I really enjoyed it. The first part of the book, I wasn't sure. It was a little bit sad, but as we got to know the characters more and learn more about the town and the community, I really, really grew to love it, and I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I wish there were more books in the series, but this also makes me really excited to read Leah Waite's Needlepoint series that's set in Maine, because if I like it as much as I like this one, it's going to be a hit. Next, I read The Readaholics and the Poirot Puzzle by Laura Di Silverio. This is book number 2 in the book club mystery series. This is set in Heaven, Colorado, and our main character is Amy Faye Johnson, and she is in a book club called The Readaholics. And in this book, they are focusing on Murder on the Orient Express. And her brother is actually opening a pub, and his partner tends to be very hot-headed. And on opening night, the partner ends up dead, and Derek is the main suspect in the murder. So Amy Faye and the Readaholics take a page out of Poirot's book and investigate the murder. I thought this one was really fun. I love all the characters, and I just really, really enjoyed following this mystery, and I enjoyed how it wrapped up. So I give this one 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Purloined Alpaca by Kim Shihan. This is book number 1 in the Shepherd Moon Alpaca Farm mystery series. I learned about this on one of the Killing Time with Cozy Discord lives, and I've never ever read a mystery series with an alpaca farm, which was so much fun. So our main character is Sarah Shepherd, and at the beginning of this book, she has bought an alpaca farm from the husband of her dear friend May, who has passed away 6-ish months prior to this. Right before she can move on to her newly purchased farm, the previous owner is found dead in one of the water barrels on the farm. And Sarah's friend and farmhand, Jake, becomes a suspect. So Sarah gets involved to try to find the real murderer so that she can actually move forward with this alpaca farm. And I really like this. I learned a lot about alpacas that I did not know. I love that we got to learn all their names and see her interacting with them while she was trying to solve the mystery. And I just thought it was really, really fun. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Murder at the Christmas Cookie Bake-Off by Darcy Hanna. This is book number 2 in the Beacon Bake Shop mystery series. I have a lot of tongue twisters this video. So this is set in Beacon Harbor, Maine. Our main character, Lindsay Bakewell, has a bake shop cafe that is set in an old lighthouse, which is really cool. So this will be her first Christmas in town. One of the townspeople decides to have a Christmas cookie bake-off, and all the local shop owners know that Lindsay bakes really good cookies, so they all ask her to bake their cookies for them. And Lindsay gets a bit overwhelmed, and just at the right time, this lady shows up to help her. At the bake-off, one of the judges turns up dead holding one of Lindsay's cookies. So she gets involved to try to solve the murder. I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. It was cute. I thought some of the things were a little unrealistic or just a hair too cheesy, but it had all the Christmas vibes, and it kind of extended my Christmas season a little bit, so I'm definitely looking forward to continuing on with the series. Next, I read Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami, translated by Sam Bett and David Boyd. And this is set in Japan, and it's kind of hard to explain. But it basically explores contemporary womanhood in Japan, and we follow 3 women as they kind of navigate these social mores and then learning to find peace within themselves and their bodies. And I thought this was really good. It's set into 2 books in the overall book. So the first book is it feels kind of dry in the writing, but there's a lot going on. And then the second half of the book, I feel like we really get some good character development. Oh my gosh, there's so many really good discussion points in this book. But just talking about your body, identity, trigger warnings for anxiety and childbearing issues surrounding that. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just, I thought it was a really, really good exploration. And it made me think about things that I had never thought about before. So it was very, very thought-provoking, and it was heartbreaking in places, and it had little funny moments here and there to kind of break up the heaviness. And I just thought it was really, really good. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm definitely interested in reading more from this author. Next, I read probably, so far, my favorite book that I've read this month. And that's The Last Nomad, Coming of Age in the Somali Desert, Shugri Saeed Sal. And she was a nomad in Somalia. And when she was 6 years old, she was sent to live with her nomadic grandmother in the desert, away from her parents in Mogadishu. And this is a memoir of her growing up. So we basically follow her from about 6 years old into her 20s. And I loved her stories of being a nomad and her cultural traditions and the lore within this nomadic tribe and all the rites of passage in this culture. Trigger warning for female genital mutilation. I was pretty familiar with it because I wrote a paper on it in school, but if you're not familiar with what it is, the descriptions can be extremely brutal, but very eye-opening. So just know that going in. It was really interesting to read about the gender dynamics in Somalia and how it was leading up to the Civil War and how she ultimately got out of Somalia and her relationship with her siblings. It was a book that I couldn't read in large chunks. I read about a chapter a day, but it was so gripping and interesting, and her writing, it felt like someone was telling the story to me, like I was listening to her tell me this story, which I thought was just perfect for the subject matter. I really loved this, and I learned a lot about Somalia, which is a country that we didn't ever really talk about in school, and I don't really know that much about. So I really appreciated that. So I highly recommend this one, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Please go check it out. Next, I read War and Peach by Susan Furlong. This is a Georgia Peach mystery series. We follow Nola Mae Harper, who owns a shop, Peachy Keen. And in this one, there is an upcoming mayoral election. Someone gets murdered. And Nola Mae has to get involved to help figure out who committed the crime. Once again, not my favorite cozy series, but I think it's cute and it's fun. So I gave this one 3 out of 5 stars. Finally, I read Grace to the Finish by Julie Heisey. This is book 8 in the Manor House mystery series. This is the very last book in the series. And we're following Grace Wheaton and Bennett Marshfield, who's the benefactor and the owner of Marshfield Manor, where Grace is a curator and a manager. So Grace is trying to help her roommates bankroll their new refurbished wine shop, Amethyst Cellars, and they're working on a sale of a building when they stumble upon the body of the banker involved in the sale. So she's trying to solve this mystery so that the wine shop opening doesn't get bogged down with a murder. But we also get the plot with her sister Liza, which I won't go into because it's a spoiler for earlier books, but this is the plot thread that's been continuing throughout the last few books. And I thought this was a really good finale to a cozy mystery series. The plot threads were tied up very well. I really enjoyed the ending, and I even got a little emotional at the ending because I knew it was the last book, and that never happens with cozy mysteries. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend this series. So those are my last 10 books. Have you read any of these? If so, please let me know down below. If you want to leave emoji, leave a camel emoji for The Last Nomad. And as always, if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button if you'd like. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.